Hello, everybody. I just wanted to jump on today to first check how you're doing. How are you doing? How are you feeling? This is a tough one. This is a tough one. And of course, I'm speaking about the death of Alexei Navalny. I wanted to give you a few impressions that I got that I thought you might be interested in hearing. I kind of wanted to go back when I did my 2024 predictions. I remember getting a message as I finished writing the predictions. As I was turning off the computer, I got a message that we would be losing 2 giants this year. And at the time, I wasn't sure if it was like industry giants or what they were, but I had a few impressions, and right away people were like, Rosalind Carter just died. Is that one of the giants? Kissinger just died. Is that one of the giants? And I kept saying no, writing back and saying, no, it doesn't feel like that. And a few of the things that I knew were that it was people that we would see having gone before their time. That they would be on the younger side or younger than you would think of as passing away. The other thing was that it felt like they had the world knew them, that kind of thing. And also that it would be really hard to grapple with. It would be really, it felt very devastating. And of course, I don't want to, those were just the things that came to me when people would write me and say, is this the person? Is this the person? Because when somebody dies in their 80s or 90s, it's not really a surprise. It can be very sad and it feels very heartbreaking, but it didn't feel like the kind of thing that they were talking about. And the fact that they mentioned it at all, I knew that it was something impactful, right? The fact they mentioned it too, though, also tells me that there was something that there were a series of events that were leading us there. And so it's very, I think this death is very, there's definitely a reason for it. And even as I sit here, I'm feeling like, yes, that's correct. That's right. So I did get a message, and it's interesting. I'll read the message and I'll see what you guys make of it. But I wanted to give you a few impressions that I had about this death. The first thing was that I felt like it was not only, on purpose, but it was purposefully now. There's a reason for it happening right now. And I felt like as I looked at Putin's actions recently, that like over the past week have been really weird. And what I got was that he's very desperate right now, desperate for Ukraine not to get aid, I think that Russia, and this is all entertainment purposes only, I'm just listening to voices in my head, that Russia is more on the verge of collapse. The war effort is more on the verge of collapse than we realize. I also think this may be tied to his health. So, and the things that I'm referring to are this weird interview he gave with Tucker Carlson, the journalist, supposedly, but I mean, not Tucker Carlson. Use the quotes for his name. He is who he is, but journalist, he is not, clearly. But giving that weird 2 hour droning on and very uncharacteristic of him, to just, he seemed weird is basically what people said. Like he just seemed weird, off. The other thing is this weird thing about, we're going to shoot nuclear weapons into space and, everybody be scared of us. And even looking at that last night, it was like I saw like junky stuff, like their weapons were all junky, and their like tanks all junky and stuff. Everything just seemed like it was falling apart. And then the other thing was this, and the other more disturbing part of this that I got, but I did want to share it because it may come out. If I'm getting it, a lot of times I think it comes out in some form, but I felt like somebody in the Republican Party was tipped off to get out of town. Last night I read on, somebody asked the question, why did they leave? And I felt like they wanted to regroup. They wanted to get a strategy together and regroup. But I also got the feeling that they were doing what they were supposed to, that kind of thing. And I wasn't really, I don't know what everything means, or if I should even, it's hard to know sometimes if it's relevant, if but it felt weird. I have to say it felt weird, but I just thought they're weird. And that's why I felt weird, because they're weird. But today I felt like, oh, they were tipped off. One of them was tipped off, or a few of them were tipped off. And the tip off wasn't, this is what's going to happen. It was, leave town, get away from Washington so that you can't vote on this Ukrainian thing. So anyway, all of this together, and that's disturbing, right? That's really, and like I said, I don't know. I don't think that they knew this was the thing that was going to happen. It just felt like something was going to happen and they needed to leave. And now we know why, right? If they were there, they would have to vote, and they would have to give Ukraine, because people are outraged, and we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. I think this is going to, build. But so those were my impressions about that. And I think that, we talked last night about people not being able, myself included, and people in the chat were having like a hard time sleeping, having, we could all feel something, not necessarily something was coming, but that the energies are just really, really heavy and hard right now. And when it comes to when the energies are like that, and I'm sure it has something to do with the planets and all kinds of things that I don't know about, but when you have these denser, harder energies, it does lend some help for those who work in these kind of energies, these lower level energies. And so it kind of, they can be of assistance. Doesn't mean they always are. It just means that when, people work in these kind of energies, and these energies are all around us, it gives some kind of like aid and comfort to them. But like I said, something in the spring, it lifts. And I heard release. That was one thing that came through. And I keep talking about that because it was a word that just stuck with me. And I don't know if it's the release of positive energy, or the release of hostages, or the release of information, or something. But there's something in the spring and kind of end of March, April, that feels like, like we can kind of breathe. We were also told that back in September that the fall and winter were going to be awful. They were going to be really, really hard. And I don't think that my guides use the words awful, but they did, talk about people leaving in groups again, and there was also a reason for all of these things, and that they would be used for a greater good, a, a, a better day. But if I get that information, it seems like it's kind of inevitable. But that the fall and winter were going to be very rocky and feel very exhausting. I did want to share with you, well, first of all, let me just go back. I wanted to read the opening of my 2024 predictions, and it may have we have a little more context now, but I just wanted to read just the very first little paragraph, and you can go back and listen to the whole thing, but the first little paragraph, and they always give me a theme, right? They always give me that theme, and this year's theme was black and white. And it says, this is the year paths become less gray and more black and white. The choices will become more obvious. You can support a path of peace, calm, love, assistance, and unity, or a path of war, selfishness, separateness, hate, and upheaval. These choices will be before us both in personal ways and collective ways. Are we going to choose in our lives peace and unity, or division and chaos? The choice will be ours. And the start of the new earth process begins in 2024. And I think that's important too, because it tells us, right, it's a choice. We're choosing how we're going to meet each moment and how we're going to use our own lives and our own experience and our own soul expression here as a human for positivity and collective, unity and things like this, peace, or if we're going to use it for the opposite. And so with that, I wanted to read you a message that I got, and afterwards I'll talk about it in a second. It was through automatic writing, and so it was very quick, but I asked for a message about Alexei Navalny for all of you, and this is what I got, and it may not be like exactly, when you, at least for me, when I do automatic writing or any kind of writing, I'm writing quickly, and I might miss a word here or there, or get a word that's kind of what they want me to say, but I don't stop and think about it. I just have to keep writing. So this is what I got. Alexei Navalny, a messenger of the truest kind, an individual of substantial and unimaginable bravery, is in our trust. So that means he's there, he's with them. A man, only a man, proved and showed to you an ability to have such a profound mark and make such a difference in the world, to show all what resolve, bravery, will, and a pledge to goodness can do. He changed Russia and the world as he made people see and witness truth. Now, even in death, he demands people witness the truth. Be heartened. This is not an end, but a beginning of a changing and freer world. So that was the message. And it was interesting because I couldn't place, I knew it wasn't him. Knew it wasn't Navalny. I knew it wasn't my guides. I kind of feel like, and you guys can give me your opinion on who you think is saying this, it kind of felt like his guides. And I think one of the kind of clues that that's who it is when they said that he is in their trust. So he's with them. Um, it could also be other, I don't know, other people like this, people that have done things like this before. Um, people that have lived these kind of lives. It could be like he's one of them. But you could tell me who you think is giving this message, because I know it wasn't him, and I know it didn't feel like my guides. I know my guides well now. So I just wonder what you guys think. And I'm going to trust and be, as it says at the end, to be heartened that this is not an end, but a beginning of a changing and freer world. So this is significant, and whether it makes a change or something that is we can see with our own eyes, protests or whatever, or if it is more, it changes the hearts of people. It moves something, but this is not going to go. This is not going to go unnoticed or ignored, right? This is something very important. But I wanted to also let you know something's going on with Putin. There's something going on with that man that is very, very scared right now, very, very worried right now. So I just wanted to give you those messages, and I hope that you guys are all doing well. If you're feeling sad, anxious, worried, if you're feeling hopeless or helpless, sit and ask your guides to come close to you and to comfort you, and just sit quietly for a few minutes and feel what you feel. I always say, don't take my word for this stuff. Do it yourself. Feel it yourself. Ask your guides to give you a sign or a feeling that everything is okay. We will get through this, and we'll do it together, right? That's another thing, is that a lot of times things like this can really unify people all over the world. This can be a real unifier when something like this happens, such a tragedy. And I do want to also say that there is another giant that is supposed to leave in 2024. But seeing this one, it feels like there's definitely a reason why. And it's part of their purpose. It's part of their mission to not only make an impact, and with Navalny, it's like, I feel like whenever his death was, it would leave an impression, because it's like their life, they had a mission and a purpose, and their death does also. We can go through the history, right, and see people whose life had purpose, and also their death, the way they left, or when they left, or just the feeling of loss. It leaves a type of impression. But I do want to just let you know that I'm thinking of all of you. I am thinking of Alexei Navalny's wife and his children, and rest in peace. We'll take it from here. Navalny, we'll take it from here. We're not going to let this stuff go. We will soldier on, all of us, and we'll do it together. And yes, please pray for his wife and children, and let's go forward and do this together. Okay. All right, everybody, take care. I'll talk to you Sunday. Okay. Bye-bye.